If I wrestled you right now, you wouldn't last 30 seconds, basically. Like, you know, like, I know you're a big guy, but like a lot of guys that have a different style, maybe you can like, maybe they wrestle from space. They'll trick you, they'll catch you in cradles, but I'll make your neck sore for 3 weeks, basically.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Leave Your Legacy Show. I'm your host, Kenyon Murray. And today my guest, you know, I'm a basketball guy, but I remember the one thing that I saw when I came to the University of Iowa is I saw like wrestlers carrying each other up the Carver Hawkeye stairs, which is absolutely crazy. And I'm like, those guys have to be nuts to be doing that kind of stuff, because I couldn't imagine carrying somebody up those stairs. But
you can do it.
my guest today is a four-time Big Ten champion, national champion 2021.
Yeah,
and
the team champions.
Yeah, and I think your nickname, you were dubbed the Bull.
The Bull, yeah.
The Bull. So,
yeah, Bull, yeah.
So join me in welcoming Alex Marinelli to the show. Alex, thanks for coming on, my guy.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you and I have just like really recently met.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'll say about this that was evident from the beginning is your passion, not only for wrestling, but your passion for helping people. And I think, you know, that'll be something we'll get into a little bit later, but we got to start with your high school career. Come on, bro. Like, I don't know if I can give you like, this is just amazing, dude. Everything that you've done. So like in high school, you were 204. That was your record in high school. 4-time state champion. And you told me something that I still can't wrap my head around. How many state championships has your high school won in a row?
25, I think.
So, I didn't give you any justice. I said 22, and I told people that they're like, what? I go, yeah. So it's 25 straight.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we won the national title my junior year, so we were number one in the country. Yeah. And it's a public school, but it's the high school coach that I came from. He brought us up at a young age in his club, and it's where I kind of found my passion of coaching. And Jeff Jordan is his name, and I'm originally from Ohio. So Graham High School is where I went. So David Taylor went there, but the Jordan boys, a lot of D1 wrestlers, and that's where I wanted to go wrestle. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. And well, tell us a little bit. So when was your introduction to wrestling? And then, you know, how did you go from starting wrestling at a young age and then you end up at the University of Iowa?
Yeah, I'm originally actually from Miamisburg, Ohio, which is kind of near Dayton. And my dad and my mom put me in wrestling at a really young age because they saw that I was pretty good at football. Okay. So football was actually my first love. So I love hitting people and like tackling people and then I played baseball as well. But one of my best friends from Ohio and Miamisburg and we went to this Pee Wee program in Miamisburg, and it was like, you know, learning penetration steps and shots and, you know, just sprawls and stance and motion. And then as I got older, you know, I noticed that I was like pretty dang good at it. So my dad and I and my mom, we made a decision to go to this club that was actually an hour north of where I was from. So we drove an hour, and then we, you know, wrestle and then drive an hour back, and did that for a long time. And, you know, actually got to know the coach that was my club coach pretty well through the camp system that he used to run, or he still does run. In Ohio, it's called the Jeff Jordan State Champ Camp. And, you know, I wanted to be a state champion. I think what like drove me, it wasn't just like the accolades, but it was probably the standard of like my mindset. Right. So like, that's kind of what I'm going to touch on a little bit, is like my mindset into not wanting to lose, or not, you know, I didn't want to feel that pain of losing. And I wanted somebody to be put in the headlock, or, you know, like I wanted to put pain on people, which in a good way. Right. Like in a way that's, you know, sportsman-like. But I think that, you know, I fell in love with wrestling and what that brought, and the community that I could be around. Yeah. So
I think, you know, when you think about getting into something like finding your path like that early, especially in sports, right?
I was 4 years old.
You were 4?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I had much of a path there. Yeah. But what did that mean for you? Because one of the things I talk to people about is to be great at anything, whether it's athletics, business, or whatever, you have to sacrifice. And you already mentioned one of the sacrifices is driving an hour, wrestling and driving back, right? Yeah. So there's so much windshield time there, and you're spending that with your parents.
Right.
But why did you feel that, well, let me phrase it this way. Yeah. To be as good as you were, what kind of sacrifices did you have? Because I think young people need to understand that to be great, you have to give something up. I think there's a lot of kids that want to be able to do everything, but you found your path and you did that. So what did that sacrifice look for you when it comes to you just being a regular kid growing up?
Yeah, I tell my youth kids this, like, if you want to be great at everything, you're probably going to be average, right? Like, you need to kind of dial in your focus of what you want to do and really revolve your life around that, like to just lead up to the path of greatness. Because if you're trying to do all these things and you're not really sacrificing, something's going to not getting your all, right? It's not going to get your all. And I feel like, you know, at a young age, there were a lot of kids that wanted to stay inside and play video games. And I just was an active kid. Like, I just wanted to play basketball outside. Like, I did play, like, you know, I almost played junior high basketball, like, because I was a lot taller than everybody. And I was this size in 8th grade. Like, I was 164 pounds. So yeah, I thought I was going to go play football college, but I didn't get taller. And I tell people that jokingly, but it was actually one of my first passions. So wrestling was something that, you know, I continued to do, obviously, in college, but I think sacrifice now, like back then it was sacrificing, right? Like sleepovers and, you know, like I went to a football camp or a wrestling camp instead of going to that sleepover. Right. So like, I just remember vividly, like my dad's like, hey, you want to be great and you want to school, like you're probably going to have to come home and we're gonna have to go. And that's just like, I just remember it. And looking back, glad my dad like kind of put that on me and let me kind of weigh that out instead of like, hey, you are doing this. It was like, hey, if you want to be great, you got to make this decision. So I think my parents did a really good job of like giving me like somewhat of an option, but like kind of weighing it on my heart, like letting me kind of weigh it out. If that makes sense. But yeah, and now looking back, like at this age, I always tell my kids, like, if you want to be great, it isn't really a sacrifice. Right. Like you should be like fueled up to do that. And yes, like you do one thing, something else is going to, like, you're going to leave something else behind. Absolutely. Right. Like now, if you pick the sleepover and the hanging out and like, you're not really focused on the goal, you're going to leave your goals behind. Right. So it's like, choose your battle. Right. So choose it.
Yeah. And that's what we did with the boys. Like a lot of people think, you know, cause I played at Iowa, played at a high level. It's like, oh, do you force your boys into it? It was like, no, we gave them the option to do it. And it's kind of the same thing. I said, if you're going to do this, then when we go to the gym, I need 45 minutes of concentrated effort in what I want to teach you. And then you can do whatever after that. And we usually end up in the gym about 2 hours, two and a half hours. Because
and I think you gave them you made it clear what the better option was, right? Like, you know, like, hey, if you want to do this, like my dad set my basement up with like the weights and things like that. And he gave that to us. And then it was like my job to go down in the basement to do it. Right. So like, and honestly, like at a young age, I can see a lot of myself and my youth kids that I coach, like basically become addicted to it. Right. Like you're like, I love the way maybe I look or the way I feel. And then you start to get driven by, you know, the wins, like getting your hand raised a lot more. Right. And then it's like, okay, where's your meaning in life? Like because if you just all about focus on winning, and you don't win, it's just you're gonna get burnt out. You're not gonna like it. Yeah,
absolutely. So we'll get into that a little bit, but I do want to go back to you wrestled for a legendary coach in the state of Ohio. So what was it like when you step in as a freshman? Because you probably went to some of his camps before that.
Since I was like 8 years old.
So you knew you knew what kind of guy he was, but what was it like when you got to high school and you stepped in that wrestling room to be coached by him at the high school level? What was that like, the intensity? I mean, it just had to be almost like, I'm trying, I don't even know if I can find a word for you when you're wrestling for, when you're wrestling for someone like that.
I think there was just a clear culture demand, right? Like there was a standard, right? And like at Graham High School, when you put on the black and white or the black and silver, you are required, and there's an expectation to win, and there's an expectation to entertain. And that's why I wanted to go to Iowa, because it was when you wear black and gold, entertain and win, right? So like it's an entertainment business, basically. Now wrestling in high school, when I got in as a freshman, I already knew that there was a standard set, right, in the system. So like a lot of coaches, they implement standards and, you know, doing things the right way. But if there's not a clear system of the way we hand fight or the way we wrestle, it's just, you know, obviously my high school coach let kids be who they are and what they are and how their style is. But it's always a standard, right? Like making weight every day. Like, you know, if we didn't make weight, we're on the line doing sprints, right? So like, that's just things that like brought team community or camaraderie, because some kids might be not making weight every day. And then we were bringing them along, right? Like, cause you're going to make all the team do sprints. Right. So like, they're just like, Coach Jordan was like very good at leading with love too. Like he would always give me a hug after every practice, and he would pray for us, and he would say, "Love you, Bull," like all the time. And, every time I get on the phone with him now, like he always tells me he loves me. So like, I think that's like very important for everybody to know, like, if you want to have impact on your kids, connect with them first. And I think that he did a good job of doing that. And he's a good storyteller too. Like, he's always talking about his hunts or his upbringing. He wrestled at Wisconsin, was coached by legendary Dave Schultz. I don't know if you know who Dave Schultz is, but he very, very good Olympic champ. He actually passed away in 1996, got shot, but like a crazy story. But like he, everybody that knows wrestling knows Dave Schultz, and he kind of gave that leadership to Jeff Jordan, and then Jeff gave it to his grandboys. Yeah,
got you. Well, I would say probably don't know who he is. Like, I'm from Iowa, so I know I know. You gotta watch the movie, and I know brands. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's watch the movie Foxcatcher. Okay. Foxcatcher is about it. It's actually Channing Tatum is in that movie, playing Dave Schultz's brother. Okay. Mark Schultz. So that's awesome. So there's a standard, and your style. You're talking about style, right? You said your Coach Jordan would let you kind of wrestle your style. So I heard yours is kind of described as like a phone booth style. Yeah. So what? So school me on what the phone booth style is for Alex.
I mean, if I wrestled you right now, you wouldn't last 30 seconds, basically. Like, like, I know you're a big guy, but like a lot of guys that have a different style, maybe you can maybe they wrestle from space. They'll trick you, they'll catch you in cradles, but I'll make your neck sore for 3 weeks, basically. Like, not trying to boost my own ego, but like, I just think I love that like hand fighting style. And sometimes I had to not necessarily dial it back, but get better angles on my guys and change the way I kind of wrestled a certain person if he could battle that a little bit longer, if that makes sense. Like, I had to make a mid-match adjustment. Like, okay, I can't just like hand fight this guy and get him tired. I got to really like find a way to score points. Yeah. So I think that's sometimes a misconception of like my style. It's not just a phone booth, but I'm like hand fighting to get the guy out of position, if that makes sense. So like, on the basketball court, like, how are you setting up plays, right? You're not just running down the court trying to get people tired. Right. That's just not going to score points. Right. And I think that like for us as a wrestler, or me as a wrestler, I try to always find openings in my hand fight, but get the guy tired. Yeah. So it's like, it's an art, to be honest, like wrestling. Like, when I show my kids how I hand fight against like say a high school kid, and a lot of kids are like, man, like, I don't know if it's like, you can do that. Like, believe you can do this. So like, sometimes you have to show the person, like, a lot of these kids weren't even born when I was wrestling in college, right? So like, I was wrestling starting in 2016 in college, and some of them are, born in 2000 or 2020, and like they're 5 years old right now. So yeah.
Wait till you get a little bit older, and now I tell people that I was born in. It was funny, like you hear like you're born in like the 1970s. I saw this funny meme where
it goes back to the era.
But this kid asks his dad, he goes, black guy, black kid, black father. He goes, so Dad, how was slavery? It's like, bro, like no, 19 that So
it's like I'm not that.
I'm not that old. I'm not that old. So you come to Iowa, right? You're 99-13. That's your record. And it says over like 54 of those were over ranked opponents. What was the difference, or was the mindset different when you went into a match and the person was a top 5 wrestler versus an unranked wrestler? So what's the mentality there when you go in those different matches?
I think like a lot of high level competitors would agree with this. Like, when you wrestle a ranked opponent, you're probably less nervous, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, when you know that the person's good, you know what you're probably going to get. Now, if a kid's not really ranked and he's maybe top 30, or he doesn't really have a lot out there, he maybe could get sloppy, and like, you gotta like, he might hit you with something that's uncharacteristic of like a good kid. And so you gotta like maybe go out there and just be solid. But those solid wrestlers, those top 10 in the country, you know what they're going to do. They're going to hand fight super hard, and you know that they got different shots that are pretty good. And it was just a little different vibe. And what set me apart, I do truly believe, and I try to bleed this into my youth kids, is when I would step on the mat, I knew I was going to win. Like, I had a mentality that like, you're not going to score on me. And if you don't score on me, you're not going to win. Right. Like it kept it simple. And also, like, I'm going to touch on this in a little bit. Like, first one to have a great mindset is expect the pain. Right. Like, I expected it to be a hard wrestling match, if that makes sense. So I was ready for it. Like, a lot of people, like, they leave and they're like, man, like, how was that match? How'd the match go? Well, man, it was hard. It's like, well, what'd you expect?
Right.
Like, what'd you expect? Like that kid prepares. Like he is in a different good program, right? He's gonna wrestle good people to prepare for you. Yeah. So expect the pain.
Yeah.
And I expected it. Like I just knew it was gonna be tough, and I was ready for it.
I love that. Well, you talk about mentality, and I think sometimes wrestling is a team sport because there's, you have a team like basketball, but on the basketball floor, I got to, 4 other guys got to do their job in order for me to have success on the floor.
For sure.
But you're by yourself. Right. You see coaches yelling, but like, so what is that? What's that mentality like when it's like, was that something that you liked more than team sports because it was just you and you, whether like golf or tennis, like it's just you. Yeah. And so you're the only person you got to worry about in that moment.
Right.
Did you like that more than team sports like football and basketball?
I think so. Okay. I think so. Like when I was in high school, I played football till my freshman year and we won 1 game. At Graham High School, we just weren't a football school. Like, and I actually came from a football town. Like Miamisburg, Ohio was real good football town. We had a couple kids go to the NFL and play for Ohio State and things like that. So, but yeah, I think like what's really, really cool is being at Iowa, you get to walk out into Carver Hawkeye and be in front of 15,000 fans and like they're watching you. Like you are like on the mat, like it's just you and another guy. And if you beat the guy up and they're cheering, it's like that's just what fuels you. I'm already kind of fired up. It's like you want to relive that, but at the same time you look back and you're like, that was the best environment I could have ever been in. And I feel like a lot of recruits, when they hear that, they should, it's a no-brainer to go to Iowa. Like it's just the fan base is behind you. And like, wrestling is, in Ohio, they do a really good job of making their state tournament really awesome and fun. And, it's you and another guy in front of thousands of fans at the Schottenstein Arena. Like it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk about greatness.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about greatness. We've talked about a little bit of mindset, and I know there's some things that you want to share, but, I tell people like, I speak on like what I feel are 3 keys to greatness, and just watching Chris and Keegan do what they did to get to where they were. And I said, we talked about one, sacrifice. Another one is, you have to love the process of getting better because you're going to be in the weight room, the training room, the sauna, way more than you're going to be on the mat wrestling. Right. And so I'd say you got to love the process. And then the third thing is like, you have to be willing to stand out, whether it's good or bad. It's really easy for people to stand out when things are going good.
Right.
But when you lose 3 or 4 matches in a row or whatever it is, 3 or 4 games in a row, and now there's that scrutiny coming, you have to be able to step into that as well. So what are your keys? What made Alex Marinelli great?
I wanted a lot of matches and I wanted to wrestle the best of the best. Like I think that was the difference between me and some of the kids that I've seen growing up is they want to hide from adversity and they want to like not go around it and like, hey, I'll go to this tournament because I'm going to walk away with a double bracket, 2 gold medals. And, and it's like they should have went to that national tournament where they're going to get pushed and maybe lose. Right. So like, I know you obviously remember your losses probably a lot more than your wins. And I think that was something that my dad did a good job of like, okay, we drove to Tulsa, Oklahoma and wrestled and I went 0-2, unfortunately, my first year. And then I kept getting better and won the Tulsa Nationals. Right. So like, it's just, there was just like, a fire in me to like beat those good guys. I remember I had an arch nemesis when I was younger. Like, you just want to beat that kid. And I put his face on my treadmill when I was cutting weight. Right. Like I just like had a fire in me to like not shy away from adversity. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't want to feel pain because pain and suffering is going to happen. Right. Like I just expect the pain.
Yeah.
But when you're young, you're kind of scared. Like, I don't want to lose. I don't want to get humiliated. I don't want to get embarrassed. And I think that for me, I don't know, you really, to be honest, like in the last one that I put right here is never give pain a voice. Right. Like you can't give that pain. Like you can't let that be, you can't let it scare you. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you have to embrace it. So I don't know. I don't know if that all makes sense, but I'm kind of rambling, but
no, it does. It does. It was funny. There was an NBA thing. I think it was Nas Reed got elbowed by Victor Wembanyama, and he said, pain is just weakness leaving the body. Right. Like going into that, you expect it. Maybe not so much in basketball do we expect pain all the time.
You're gonna be tired, but yeah,
we'd be tired. But yeah, no, I think that's a great way to look at it. And for me, like there seems to be like, is there really a thing called balance, right? When you talk about wanting to be great at something, you think about all the great athletes, right? And how much they worked on their craft. Did you feel you had true balance when you were an athlete, or did you feel it just depended on what time of the year it was where it teetered back and forth? Because I believe when they say work-life balance, there's no work-life balance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just you gotta
do
deal
it
with
or
it.
you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. So what balanced you out, right? When you were wrestling, whether you had a great match or lost it, won it, whatever, like what allowed you to kind of refocus and get you back into a place where you're ready to compete against the next day?
I think obviously my faith, I'm a big believer in Jesus. So I think that's something that I found when I met the woman of my life, right? Like, so my wife and I have been together since 2011. We met when I was in like junior high, 12 years old or whatever it was. And then we stayed together and got married in 2019. And I think just finding people around you that's going to balance you, I think is very important. And cause, I remember losing in college and, Tom Brands was like, hey, remember this feeling, like, remember that, because if you time goes on and that kind of feeling is going to fade, like, and you forget it, you're not going to it's not going to fuel you the same. Right. And I think just, you have a bad match, know that that's not your true meaning in life. And I tell kids, like, you are going to lose and we actually want you to right now. And when it counts, like at state tournament, obviously you don't want to lose. And you know what, if you do though, you are prepared because you've lost before and you know how to handle that, right? And you know how to move on quick, right? When I was coming into college, I was obviously top prospect in the country. Came here, got a scholarship at Iowa. So I was like on cloud 9 and ready to win a national title, going to the Big Tens. I think I was seeded like number 1 or 2 or something like that. So I had a bye first round and it was at Michigan State. And that kid that I had first round was a pretty tough kid to have first round, right? Like I had a bye and then he had a match, right? So he was prepared. And going into that match, I probably should have got a better warm up in or whatever, would just been more prepared. And I actually lost in overtime. Oh, wow. And the whole arena went nuts. Like they're on their feet because when Iowa goes down, they love it. Right. Yeah. So I'm in the hallway just after the match, just thinking like, what just happened? My career's done. Like I just lost a Big Ten match or whatever at the Big Ten tournament. And Tom Brands just looked at me and was like, I could tell he was emotional as well. Cause like, the whole arena's against me. Like they don't even know me. Like and he's just like, he said, Alex, get your freaking headgear, get up and let's go. You got more matches. Like it's all good. Like, let's go. Like, and so I think just having a coach like that keeps you in line is super important. And he that's what they did. They just had a really good way of having them, like, you just got to trust that we got you. If that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. And obviously, you have, you wrestle for one of the best coaches in wrestling over, for the last like 30, 40 years, whatever it is. But so your career at Iowa was over. So what did that next step look like? What were your plans once you had your last match at the University of Iowa? Right. What were your plans then?
That's tough because I really wanted to coach. I wanted to coach in college. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, like specifically. I knew I wanted to impact people in a way, but then I also could still wrestle. So I wrestled for a little bit still and got a couple offers right out of college and, weighed on my heart pretty heavily, but I knew I knew I could still scrap and wrestle and beat up the guys. So, when I got done with college, a lot of people they know my career, but most people that don't know, I went to college for 6 years because of COVID and then I redshirted. So like I was like keeping my body going for a long time, a lot longer than normal guys. I was still young, but then, sitting in Tom's office, he's like, I think you can still compete. And, it's got to be obviously up to you. Because if you compete for an Olympic gold medal, like, what it takes and you got to be all in. So I made a decision to keep competing until 2024 Olympic trials, qualified for the Olympic trials. So only 16 guys get to qualify for that. So it was awesome to be one of them. Won a couple matches, good matches. And then I remember walking to weigh-ins for the last day. And I turned to Spencer Lee and I was like, hey, this is probably my last weigh-in. He's like, what? He's like, you can still go. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I was like, you know what? Like, my passion is coaching. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. Like, that's what I want to do. I find fulfillment and coaching and giving back and impacting kids. And not saying I miss competing, there's a lot of opportunities that still may come up that I maybe can compete on the side a little bit, but we'll see. So, I think just deciding to compete was honestly a blessing because it's freestyle wrestling. Folk style is college wrestling. And so freestyle, got me prepared and gave me a lot of experience to actually give back to my kids, because they do freestyle here in Iowa and Ohio. It wasn't super big, but now it's like, it's big here.
Yeah. So your love and desire to go into coaching helped birth Hawkeye Wrestling Academy. Yeah. And you told me about like, you started with like 2 kids. So tell us about like, you know, that decision to form the academy, and then kind of how it's grown to what it is today.
I actually started it while I was competing. So not many people know that, but in 2022, it got introduced to me. So Tom Brands was like, hey, we need a youth club in Iowa City. Like, you know, the club that was before kind of phased out. And he's like, hey, we need to like have a presence in the youth here. And which is obviously, it's always been the standard here. Like he always wanted that youth component. And I was like, yeah, great, let's do it. Not knowing what kind of was going to unfold, right? Like when you're competing, it's just a lot to coach as well. So I did the whole thing, started my program. It was actually called Iowa City Wrestling Club for a little bit, ICWC, and then I rebranded a couple years later to the HWA, the Academy for the youth, right? Like the Academy of the Hawkeyes. So we operate out of Carver Hawkeye Arena and the new wrestling room at Iowa as well. And so you know, starting out with 2 kids, you look at it and you're like, man, is this going to go? Like, what's going on? And, you know, obviously Iowa already has like a decent amount of clubs already, but, you know, they have clubs established all over the state and around the country. And so you start this club and you want to stand out in different ways. You want your culture to be the standard. Right. And, you know, every year we've progressed. And now we have over 200 kids, like probably 250. So it's like, you know, quantity is important, but I've always wanted to have quality, right? If you're not towing the line and you're not coming in wanting to strive for greatness, like maybe we won't jive and mesh, right? If you're not towing the line and you don't get your hand raised the right way or lose the right way, like we will confront you, right? We will talk to you. We will try to bring you along. You know, and obviously like the numbers have been great, but also the kids have been getting better. So the first couple years we were probably not even in the top 100 in the state. Wow. And then the third year, I think our third season, yes, we were top 10. We cracked the top 10. So we were 10th in the state at AAU state. And then this past year we were number 8. So we moved into the top 8, right? So there, and then Super Pee Wee State is a whole nother thing. It's pre-K through second grade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But a couple years ago, we weren't even the top 200. And this past year we took 3rd. Okay. So like, you know, it's good. I mean, pre-K through second grade, they're young, but you're beating some good teams. And we, you know, that's the future, right? Like the pre-K through second grade, obviously that's the future. And then who we have now at an older age, we want to see them succeed, win high school state titles, and then obviously get a scholarship at, you know, any school they want to.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
It's been great, man. Like, the people that we've been able to impact, and not only just in wrestling, like, you know, there's parents that genuinely like call me and they're like, you've changed my life. You changed my kid's life. You've brought me along, and you know, maybe it's a scholarship that we gave them, or maybe it's just financial assistance that we've given them. There was a single dad of 4 that was hurting, and, you know, his car broke down and we actually gifted him a car. Like, that's just like things that like I find passion in. And, you know, it actually stems from the way I was brought up with the Iowa program. It's actually funny. My wife got in a rear-ended one time, and Tom Brands, they got together in the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. The post-grad, you know, gifted her a car. So you know, just was like, here's another car to get you along. So like, that's like just giving, like the shirt off your back is probably what just like fuels me the most, and making sure these kids get what they need to like actually get their hand raised. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's stewardship, right? I mean, you're stewarding the blessings that you have. You're stewarding your experience, your wisdom, and all that kind of stuff. And I think the one thing that I felt really drawn to you when you started talking about, you know, one, your faith, and then how that's kind of created a little group of dads where you do like a Bible study. Stuff like that. Like to me, like when I first met you, I was like, okay, I can get down with this guy just because of that. And so talk a little bit about that. Like, yes, you're stewarding, you know, your wrestling greatness, but what does it mean to be able to steward the word in that way too, and bring people together?
Yeah, I think when you come to the Hawkeye Wrestling Academy, you know what you're going to get, right? Like I wore a shirt before every match, not to like get a win or like be a lucky rabbit's foot, but it said Jesus Train. And I felt like, you know, I wanted to put Jesus's name like on display, right? Like I wanted to use my platform to show kids that it is cool to be a Christ follower. Like it is cool to like, you know, it's a different thing. It's not just to like reap the benefits, but it's to obviously receive that grace that we don't deserve. Right? Because we are sinful. But just knowing like having a consistent hope in your life and not just like, letting wins drive you, like what's your why? I tell kids that. And obviously I'm not going to push my faith onto kids. I think that's super important, letting them, navigate life by themselves, but at the same time being a light to them, showing them that like, this is what it is. I mean, hopefully I represent Christ in a great way. And obviously I'm not perfect, but I might be the only person that does give them Christ, right? I might be the person that maybe drives them to that. And I pray that I am, right? And so there's been a lot of kids that reach out and they're like, hey, can we go to breakfast? Older kids that are in high school, like I'm struggling with this. Like there was a kid that literally texted me a couple of days ago that was like, hey, I'm on burnout. Like what's going on? And I called him. I was like, hey, let's get together sometime. Let's do it. So I think it's been a blessing. I mean, I use it as my ministry. I literally, I kind of wanted to start a church and get into service and get into ministry, but like this is my ministry. And like that's it's where I place my faith, and I can't thank God enough for like the blessings he's given me. So the men's group on every Tuesday morning, it's early, but they get together and we come together for coffee, and we actually read a book called Dad Tired and Loving It. Because when you're a dad and you have kids in your club, you want everything for them and you give them everything and you're doing all these things, but it's actually maybe you're leading them towards the wrong end zone, right? Like I think there's a fine line between spending a lot of energy making everything go, when really your spirituality and your leadership and your in alignment with God is starving, right? And I think that's what I wanted to give to the dads. And then obviously the moms, we got to start a moms group. Yeah. So.
You definitely need to do that.
I know.
It comes to me in a different way through basketball. Most of the women that are either associated with our clubs or coaches, make sure you get women's cut T-shirts. Like that's the biggest thing for me. I know.
Pink shirts. Like I'm actually getting that.
Oh, are you? Okay. Yeah. You got to make sure you have a little bit of balance there. Right. Yeah, man. So tell us, like, what's kind of I know what some of the next steps are for Hawkeye Wrestling Academy, but what's some of the next steps that you foresee for your academy?
Yeah, I think honestly, nothing's going to stop us. The only thing that's going to stop us is ourselves, like the limit you put on yourself. And I think that we have such a great atmosphere that there's only one way, and it's up. And I think just giving these kids opportunities to compete, right? Like getting in new leagues that like we're invited into or we're getting into, right? There's a thing called P&L, and how many people know, but it's like, it's kind of invite only. And we're trying to get kids to find different ways to compete and give them opportunity, right? Yeah. So like one of the problems with that and traveling and gear and all this stuff is financials, right? So last year as an organization, being a nonprofit organization, where it obviously opens doors for fundraising, and we raised over $100,000 last year for our kids for gear. Not one kid that signed up for our program before the academy season started paid for Nike wrestling shoes. Gave it to them, right? And so like not only that, but like shirt, shorts, warm up, singlets, right? Like sports, it gets expensive, right? Yeah. And we want to have obviously our team be in unison, right? Like and then some people just they can't bridge that gap. It's just not, it's not going to happen. And so I think giving kids everything that they need and more is what we want to do. I was brought up in a program that obviously it's Iowa, and I was kind of spoiled, right? I mean, I was, it's just, you get everything, right? And you want to give that to the kids, but at the same time, why not? Why not do that? Yeah. Right. I got a phone call from a legendary guy that's like, how are you doing this? Like, and Jordan Burroughs is his name. And he was like, how are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? Like, I see your gear package that you're putting together. I was like, honestly, it's Wrestletown USA. Yeah. Like we got parents that want to give back and we have kids that need it. And that's what we're doing. So like you said, we got big things coming. We're going to have a gala in a couple months, August 29th. It's going to be at Riverside Casino, but it's going to be a gala that's honestly, it's going to be amazing experience for our people to like come together and see what's going on. We're going to have great videos and things like that, and a great opportunity to give back. So, once you guys see this, it'll be out, but I appreciate you being Kenyon Murray Elite being a presenting sponsor. Yeah. So that's awesome. You're our champion sponsor, and we can't thank you enough. And, there's a lot of expenses that people don't know about, right? Like Absolutely. Fargo is a tournament in a couple months that people go to North Dakota and they compete for a freestyle championship. And, I don't know, guess how much one athlete is to go there? Take a guess. $900.
For one?
For one. Yeah. So like,
we don't even pay that for team entries in the tournament.
I know.
Crazy.
So, well, obviously they get gear and things like that, but like we want to bridge that gap, right? That's what we're fundraising for.
Yeah.
And like, we have to, and parents, you know, they got these trips to Florida and, you know, for different tournaments, and, you know, we'll compensate. Like, this is what we want to do. This is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
And, obviously as we grow, that number is going to go up and what we need, but at the same time, this gala is going to be something where, you know, we're going to have live auctions. We're going to have like bison hunts and bear hunts that we're live auctioning, and then silent auction items and fun stuff like that. But, you know, you get to buy a table, you get to support the program, and, you know, and obviously give back to scholarships, which honestly helps out paying coaches. Right. Yeah. So like, you know, our coaches are a big thing, and keeping them around and keeping them impacting kids. You know, we have a great addition to our staff a couple of years ago that I actually got to keep her, Nanea Estrella. She's from Hawaii, and she is awesome. Yeah. She is one of our best coaches that I've ever been around. She's fiery. She'll hold kids accountable. I'll call her if I need something done. She's going to do it. Yeah. And she was going to leave to California after the state tournament. And she actually decided to stay around. So she was going to be in California where it was nicer, and she decided to stay in Iowa. So it speaks volumes.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about you, even though I know you don't want to take the credit for that, but it does. It speaks volumes about the environment that you've created, that she would love to stay here. And you even told me, like, she broke down in tears because she's like, oh my gosh, like she couldn't believe that you offered her that kind of position. And so that says a lot about you as a man, for sure. Yeah. But I'd be remiss if I don't go back and talk about something you mentioned early. Yep. You met the love of your life when you were like 12 years old. Mm-hmm. So talk about your wife and your beautiful daughter.
She's amazing.
Your daughter is so cute, bro.
She's crazy.
She's so cute.
She was trying to wrestle me last night, and then she started wrestling my wife. And there's a rule in the house: don't wrestle mommy, wrestle dad. Right. So Lillian Faith is her name, but she's gonna be 3 in like 6 days, but May 25th. But she's great. My wife, a lot of people know in the wrestling community, she's the director of ops for the wrestling program for Tom and Terry. So she is involved. She's been involved with wrestling her whole life. Her brother, her twin brother, Eli Stickley, who was brought up in wrestling as well, passed away in a car accident in 2018. That family right there, I just saw Christ live through him right away when I met him. It was just a different energy and vibe and light. And I wanted that. And like, I knew I needed that, right? Like when you see somebody, you're like, I need that. Like, I need that. Like, so I got to keep them. So luckily my wife and I have never split up. There's been tough things dealing with dysfunction and things like that. But my wife, Mariah, is like literally an angel on earth. Like, it's like, I don't know how to explain her. Like, it's like, she's so giving, and she like honestly needs to take more time to herself to like relax and like just do what she needs to do. And I mean, Tom's sometimes kicking her out of the office because she's like, he's like, you're here too much. Like go home and do what you need to do. But I think I'm just like, obviously I can get emotional talking about her because she's one of the best humans that you can ever be around. Yeah. Like, she's great.
Man, that's so awesome, man. I know. And for us men to be great, it's 9 times out of 10, there's a good woman right beside us when that happens. So I'm gonna ask you this question, since she's an angel on earth. Yeah. So if let's say you got 3 days where your daughter's taken care of. Yep. You completely detached from. Yep. Where would you and Mariah go?
Hawaii. We went there for our honeymoon, and that was awesome. We actually island hopped and went to Maui for a day. We stayed on the Big Island, but we would detach. She likes the beach, and we would have no phones because phones kind of steal, focus and connection, and especially with the job that we're in, right? Like, we're coaching, so we need to get a hold of parents, and we need to email and all this stuff. And she does too. She's a director of ops, so she's always in her phone. Most of the time, hopefully not, but like for us, like I think just getting away for a little bit and spending time. Obviously, like that's tough with a kid right now, and you have kids as well, so but like it's very important to keep dating your wife. And I think that like I was at my buddy's wedding a couple months ago, Michael Kemmer. He was one of my best friends in college, and that was like the biggest advice I gave to him was like, always know you're on the same team, and always keep dating your wife. And like get to know her, because like she's gonna change, right? The wife that I knew 5 years ago or 6 years ago is like not the same, and it's not a bad thing. It's just they changed, and I changed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we go through different chapters of life, even though we're together. And like even my wife and I now, like we still go to couples counseling because parenting kids is one thing, parenting adults is a different thing. Right. So we're just trying to make sure we have another voice kind of making sure that we stay in alignment with that kind of stuff. And because she deals with things differently than I do, you know, same thing, like a situation comes up and you're going to deal with it, completely different than your wife.
Tough it out.
And so, so I think it's important that, and you talk about dating. I always say, have you ever heard of the 7-7-7 rule?
I think so.
Yeah. So every 7 days, have a date night, every 7 weeks, like an overnight, and then every 7 months a vacation. But the 7 months thing for my wife doesn't work.
Yeah, it needs to be short.
It's got to be shorter.
It means 5,
something like that. So no, man, I just first want to say thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
We're so excited for what's coming down the pipeline for you and Hawkeye Wrestling Academy. Obviously, to be involved with you, definitely believe in what you're doing, and we want to support that in any way we can. That. So. But man, just thanks for taking the time today to come on.
No problem. Be on the lookout for big announcements. I mean, we got.
What's the website that they'll be able to find?
It's just Hawkeye Wrestling Academy. So there's a couple dashes. So it's like Hawkeye-Wrestling-Academy.com.
Okay.
But yeah, like it'll be on our social media and you'll be able to find it and definitely attend. We're actually going to announce a live music performance. So it's like a connection that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's announced by the time we put this out. But
that's awesome. Are you going to have me speak? Okay.
You're going to be speaking. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
You're going to lead, direct. Yeah. So I appreciate it. And obviously, just if anybody wants to get involved with wrestling or try it out, there's a bunch of things that we're going to be doing here soon for like a free camp or like people that are just starting wrestling, want to feel it out, or, a father-son camp, mother-daughter camp. Like there's a lot of things that we want to do and we're going to do in the future. So be on the lookout for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hopefully I don't lose any of my players to your wrestling academy.
We're going to get, I think I have some in yours.
You do?
I think so.
Okay. All right. We'll see. No, it's been great. I think, wrestling's continue to grow. I'm just saying that because when I was a high school girls coach, I had a couple girls leave.
In wrestling?
Yeah, and went to wrestling at Prairie. Yeah. So,
what's going on?
But it's one of those things. It's like, hey, if that's the way you want to go, that's great. And then regardless of what coach you are, how you're in that person's life, just encourge them to be great.
And find a good one, right? Find your potter, right? I tell kids like I'm molding and shaping you right now. So hopefully you continue to stay in those hands of that potters.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, hey, if you enjoyed the show today, please share it, like it, subscribe, and remember, until next time, let's keep connected. The Leave Your Legacy podcast is brought to you by Covenant Workplace Solutions. Covenant is a full-service workplace mental health and wellness partner, helping organizations across the country strengthen the lives of their employees and the families they go home to every day. Your employee assistance program should raise the bar, not simply check the box. And Storyline Multimedia. Storyline is an Iowa City-based media company that creates high-quality video, photo, and audio for local businesses. They produce a number of great podcasts, including this one. If you're interested in sharing your story, please contact them at storylinemultimedia.com. And remember, your story matters.